Very excited to try this thing out. So I just got it. I showed you guys when I was buying it. Uh-oh. This is a mini handheld sewing machine. There it is. And looks like an upside down stapler. So, okay, that's useful. So it's supposed to go like this. I don't even see how this thing could possibly sew. I don't get it. How's it supposed to sew? There has to be a bobbin in the bottom too then, right? There has to be. Well, how do we even get access to that? Does this thing open up? Oh! It opens. What? No, 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 no. Oh, believe me, I don't doubt for a second that this thing will break. I need to be ever so careful. I almost lost it there, guys. There is no bobbin in the bottom. So what kind of stitch does this thing do? It's not a stapler, it's a sewing machine. I like cheap, simple stuff. If this thing, you just gotta be extra careful. If this thing works, I'm gonna be mind blown. Alright, let's try it. Well, wait. First, let me read the directions. I don't even know how to work it yet. Okay. I guess I could reel this back in. I seriously can't wait to see how this thing works. I had a dream of being able to just hand sew with a stapler style sewing machine. I thought it would be possible theoretically, and I wanted to build a machine like this, and then when I saw it for sale online, it blew my mind that it actually exists. But it shouldn't be that surprising because I noticed that most of the ideas I have, somebody else has thought of. Like, there's not that much original stuff to come up with in the world, you know? So the chances are pretty good. Okay, so it goes. Note that the bobbin is clockwise and it comes out of the bobbin clockwise. It goes up through this little hole, comes across, and then it goes through this tensioner, where it appears that it goes in the bottom, around, and then out the right. So it goes in the bottom. You can see it's entering the bottom portion, around the top, and then back down. So it's a single clockwise wrap around it. and then it goes in through the back of the needle and out the front, and then it goes down through the plate and then just gets pulled out from under the plate right afterward. Now there are little teeth in the bottom whose job is, I guess, to travel the fabric through. Wow, so it even has the ability to travel the fabric through. So I guess you pinch down by hand, which drives it through the fabric, and then as it lifts up, the spring-activated teeth move the fabric over. Fascinating. And the fabric will feed through that way, and you come toward yourself. You can probably move your hand to reposition though, but this will try to reposition it for you, so you can just keep squeezing it. Now I imagine I could probably put a motor on this thing that would actually pinch it down for me. But you can just hand grip it, which is a nice grip exercise. It's almost like a grip master, which I bought one, a grip master, to help with carpal tunnel and stuff and improve my grip. It's almost like having one of these to sew with. Cure for carpal tunnel. I have a super strong grip if you sew with this thing. Okay, so holding, supporting. Okay, so this is just showing me that you're supposed to hold it like this. Got it. Has a little picture here of thumb on top, fingers underneath, and you're just going to pinch, pinch, pinch. And, okay, so holding, supporting the bottom of the machine with 4 fingers of your right hand, and then putting your thumb on the top of the machine for holding the machine lightly. Threading. Drawing from the lisle softly from the bobbin and threading it from winding A, and then put in the tension controller B. Okay. But not to forget putting it through this little eye here. Then threading it through winding C. Okay. Putting the top of the lisle beside the needle, and then threading the lisle through the needle by using the threader. Is this the threader? What threader? Huh. They say using the threader, but I don't see a threader. Okay, using the threader 2 to 3 centimeter. What's it say here? Includes large spool adapter and cap. Oh! So this thing would go... Where? You could put a big spool on it, they're saying, like that. The question is, how? This seems really on there. I don't even know how you'd remove this bobbin here. So I'm going to have to read on. Also includes needle threader in structure sheet. There's supposed to be a needle threader that came with it. I never saw one. Maybe I threw it away. Okay. Lift up cloth fastening plate with right forefinger and putting the cloth less than 0.8 millimeter gauge under the fastening plate and then settling down the fastening plate. Okay, so you would lift this up, put this close in, and let it lock in. Got it. Pressing the top of the machine up and down and do over. Then the right hand should move to right step by step and left hand hold the cloth the control direction. This little tag is blocking some of my instructions here. Oh, great. I'm trying to figure out how to use this little miniature handheld sewing machine. It's the most incredible machine, in theory. It was like $3 for shipping. Well worth the experiment. I think it's going to save a lot of time. Good. Huge asset to me for manufacturing. I think I'm going to enjoy it here as much as my $300 sewing machine. Okay. Alright. You can adjust the bolt for the optimal habitus. Adjust nut figure 1. Interesting. This thing's supposed to move left to right? Oh, wow. So you don't sew away from yourself like this. You're supposed to sew like this, I guess. That's interesting. So interesting. You can adjust the bolt for the optimal habitus. Adjust nut figure 1B. Figure 1B? Oh, yeah, they're talking about this. For the optimal tension. They called it habitus instead of tension. Somebody that doesn't speak English made these English instructions, so that's kind of funny. Okay. Drawing prolate distaff and thread spindle if you want to change an big clue. After threading again and readjusting the tight and loose of lisle, you can sewing again. Figure 3. Okay. Loose the set screw with a screwdriver and take off the old needle. Notice to let the flat part of needle face the invariant set screw. Correct direction and position of the needle. Okay. That's for changing the needle. Large spool adapter and cap. Thread 1 needle threader instruction sheet. This is so funny. I want to know how to put a bigger bobbin on. Huh. Oops. I need more light. I gotta really look close at this thing. I just, I don't get it yet. I don't get it yet. Well, I need to see it in action before we do too much. I want to understand it more. I don't want to screw anything up, before we even know how the heck it works. So we are going to sew a test run on this post-it note. Holy crap. It works. Okay. I gotta be gentle. Beautiful. Guys, it works. I want to get maybe some fabric then to try. Um, should I try my shirt? I don't really want to try my shirt. Okay. That was a fail. I think it's because it's stretchy material. Even normal sewing machine would have a problem with that material. Okay, so this thread is a bit of a problem, but you can see um, it can sew. But I believe it's called a loop stitch. It can unravel easily if there's breaks in the loop, like this bottom has a break. So the thread can't break. Here's another break. If the thread breaks, then this can happen. Watch. Boom. If these start coming apart, the whole plan unravels, because then if you flip it around, pop, 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 pop. See? So, yeah, early sewing machines actually had this kind of design, but then there became something known as the lock stitch, which involves a bobbin on the bottom and a spool on the top. This design with the loop stitch is supposed to be faster and cheaper because the machine is simpler, but runs where one little break can cause the whole thing to unwind, the whole seam, are an issue. So it's a risky way to sew things if you want it to last. Watch this. See, it all can come apart pretty easily. So I have to think on if I think it's worth sewing in such a risky manner. Probably is worth it as long as you use very strong thread. Not this crap. Definitely got to use nylon upholstery thread. So I want to know how to change this thread out. That's my concern. Boom. Okay, I figured it out. So it's press fit. I just knew it had to be able to come out. Okay. So we could put this bad boy on. With some real good strong thread. Okay. So this would just pop on. I'm going to want to support the back when I press in. Okay. And oh, you know what? This is, we wanted it clockwise, so let's undo that. Okay. Come in from this side. Supporting it so I don't break anything. Okay, so it's pressed in. And now we're gonna follow the path that the other string took. So I'll just leave the other string in so we can just trace it. Alright, I'm gonna cut the other string now. It comes up through this first piece of plastic right here. Up through that. And now one wrap around. Yep, from the underside, one wrap around, just as I suspected. Okay, and then through, and now it's going to come through the back of the needle. Alright, we need a clean cut on this to get it through. That's going to be tricky to put through without a little help. So I'm going to get my needle nose tweezers. Okay. So that's through now. And then through the bottom plate, like so. And there we go. So the thread comes up from the bobbin through this little hole, around one full time clockwise, and then out the bottom of this tensioner. And you can actually set the tension with this little screw. And then comes through the back of the needle. Through the back of the needle and out the front of it. You can see it came out the front, through the back. Then it goes underneath this plate. Now to lift this plate to get fabric and stuff in, you've got to hold down with your fingernail the bottom part, or else the whole thing comes out. So you just want to lift just that part, separating it. And then once you're threaded in, it's actually very simple. So we got a big spool on there now. You just line it up. First you gotta get it where you want it. Okay. Now you can look at your stitches through the viewing plate. And you will just place a stitch. You can move it with your left hand. You can separate the stitch distance manually. This thing is not bad, man. You can sew with this. I think it's important to use a upholstery thread though, because you want a really strong thread that's not going to break. Here's the back. It's pretty clean. Definitely got to tie off this end piece, definitely, because this type of stitch, if there's any break in it, then it will unravel the whole thing. So that's why you want a strong thread and no breaks. And it's probably a good idea to double it up, so run 2 lines down your seam, just in case if you did have a break, if you're doing like something for that you're going to be selling. But that's pretty darn fast, man. A lot of control. I just did that whole thing. Imagine how fast I could tailor anything with this pocket-sized sewing machine. It's hilarious. So then, to remove it from the machine, I'm finding that it's best just to pull away some slack. You got to be careful. This machine is not made of solid metal. It's a flimsy little thing. It's cost $3, but man, what a value if you're just careful and tactful in how you use it. Okay, you don't. It pops out so easily like that. You don't want it popping out, so don't do that. All right, we got it back in. Oh, it just let it go for some reason. That's cool. Uh-oh. Okay, so you can see if there's a single break, it will all start to unravel, see? See that? So you definitely want to tie it off really good at the start and finish of everything, always. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And to do that, you would just pull out a little bit from the end, and you can just tie it around maybe this way, so that the bottom half and the top half are sealed. And you would want to double knot it like that, and then it'll be tied off properly, and the back side is stitched. And that's for like a $3.50 sewing machine. Also, just to be thorough, I do want to show you guys how to actually buy this. It's the most incredible thing, man. I don't think anybody even knows about this. Or it was $3.98 in free shipping. I mean, it's worth it if it works. I always said if it works, then this is amazing. So there we go. $3.98. Mini portable cordless electric handheld sewing machine, handy stitch tools. This is not electric. Okay, so that's just a lie. So there you have it, man. This thing works. I approve. Okay, it's supposed to come with this. That didn't come with mine. It was also supposed to come with instructions. That didn't come with mine. But it's so easy to figure out. There's nothing electric about it. And it does work. Just not for stretchy fabrics, for whatever reason. Actually, it might work for stretchy fabrics. I think it just, I don't know, something screwed up when I was doing it, but yeah, man. Stretchy fabrics are always tough on sewing machines. Let's say my car cover on my car gets a rip in it. Well, I could just take this outside and sew the rip. Like, I wouldn't be able to drag out my big old sewing machine and stuff. But something like this is very portable. And it could be useful to have something that can easily be removed, stitch-wise. Watch how easy it is to remove it once you get it started. Boom. I just think it's pretty cool. I actually think I'm going to use this for product manufacturing needs. Certain niche cases where like let's say you wanted to hem some jeans, and this was the jeans, right? This is them on the outside. Well, you can actually stick this inside the pant leg. And just hand hem it without taking the jeans apart. Like, this will just fit right in. Like, certain tight quarter stuff, I feel like this thing will be amazing just to get in there and do the job. It's a nice, simple machine, man. And I think it's a good idea to pin off like that when you're not sewing so it doesn't unravel. So I just slid it in, because otherwise this thing just tends to flop around and it will be a tangled mess when you come back. So just slide it in so that it's sealed off so it won't get messed up. And that's it. This thing's ready to go anytime I need to sew something. I'm loving it, man. I think this will be a great tool. And it's so small, you can just fit it in a drawer or your sewing bag. And this thing's way faster than trying to hand sew. And I usually hand sew if it's just something small, like just a small job. Now I can use this, because I don't always want to get out my big old sewing machine. It's heavy. You gotta make sure it's plugged in. You gotta turn it on. It's a pain in the butt. This thing, I feel like, would be way better The funny thing is, I bet you guys think that I'm trying to sell this thing. I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just I have nothing to gain from selling it. I'm not the manufacturer, I'm not the inventor, I have no affiliation. I just think it's a great product. So this is my product review. And I think it's great. If you needed a sew with the sewing machine and you have a power outage, that thing will step up to the plate for sure. Could save you. It's not electronic, so not a bad idea to bring it with as like an emergency kit. When you go on a trip as well, you can sew something. It's just a cool thing, man. So darn cool. Oh, by the way, guys, it looks like the one I bought went up in price. Um, it looks like that's not the cheapest one. So there's a lot of other ones, different colors and stuff. Uh, $291 in free shipping for this little black one. Here's $327 in free shipping. Here's a $284 in free shipping. So what I notice is that Chinese sellers, they'll list a small quantity for sale, like 3 for sale. And if they get a sale on that, then they'll raise the price by $1 and then create another listing for the cheaper amount. And so the one that has one sale will be more promoted by eBay. And so they raise the price because it will be more promoted, and then they'll list like a low price listing. It's some weird way of cycling listings and getting views and stuff that they have figured out. So the prices can be kind of wacky, and a lot of times after you buy something, if you were to buy it again from the same seller, it'd be more expensive. But if you bought it from the same seller, a different listing, it'll be cheap again. So you have to really just sort by price. You can't just buy the same listing twice, pretty much, if you want to get the lowest price. But yeah, $2.91 for a working sewing machine? Like, whoa. That's totally doable. No, it's called a chain stitch. Here we go. Okay, so the very first sewing machine used a chain stitch. Um... Chain stitch was used by early sewing machines and has 2 major drawbacks. The stitch is not self-locking, and if the thread breaks at any point or is not tied at both ends, the whole length of stitching comes out. It is also easily ripped out. The direction of sewing cannot be changed much from one stitch to the next, or the stitching process fails. Oh, that's why my G failed. A better stitch was found in the lock stitch. The chain stitch is still used today in clothing manufacture, though due to its major drawbacks, it is generally paired with an overlock stitch along the same seam. So you probably want to do 2 layers, and you shouldn't trust it too much. But the fact that it's still used in clothing manufacture, I mean, YOLO, why not use it? But chain stitch is a sewing embroidery technique in which a series of looped stitches from the chain-like pattern form a chain-like pattern. Chain stitch is an ancient craft. Examples surviving Chinese chain stitch embroidery worked in silk thread have been dated to the Warring States period. Handmade chain stitch embroidery does not require that the needle pass through more than 1 layer of fabric. For this reason, the stitch is an effective surface embellishment near seams on finished fabric. Because chain stitches can form flowing curved lines, they are used in many surface embroidery styles that mimic drawing in thread. Chain stitches are also used in making tambour lace, needle lace, macrame crochet. Chain stitch was the stitch used by early sewing machines. However, as it is easily unraveled from fabric, this was soon replaced with the more secure lock stitch. This ease of unraveling of a single thread chain stitch, more specifically known as blah 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 stitch 101, continues to be exploited for industrial purposes in the closure of bags for bulk products. Well, I've seen that. Machine embroidery in chain stitch, often in traditional hand-carved crewel designs, is found on curtains, bed linens, upholstery fabrics. Alright, so it's a sketchy way to do it, prone to failures, but the best part about that is if it does fail, the customer buys another one. You sell more product. Built to fail. Sounds perfect for my businesses. Built to fail. What do I do for a living? I sell products that I invent online. So I invent products, I start product lines, and I sell the products online. Okay, so let's see. So basically, you come up with a cool product that you want to sell. You list it for sale, and then when you get sales, you manufacture and ship out what you sold. And if you can get enough products and enough listings, you can make enough money to get by. And eventually, if you're into electronics and robotics like I am, you can eventually even automate production of all of those products and continue to expand your product lines and expand your automation until you have just a huge passive income. And that's my long-term plan.